to Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.
So this episode is brought to you by the questions that we got from some of our subscribers. And these are all opinion based. We are not therapists. We are not certified, but we're certified in life. Okay. So these are all opinions. I mean, good ones. You should listen to them. But.
Yeah, it's just our opinions from the questions people are asking. So
you go first.
I'll pick one out and read it for you.
Oh, this is going to be a question for me to answer?
Oh, all right. Well, I can answer it.
All right. No. How do you want to do it?
What do you think?
Do you want to pick the question? No. Stop it. Oh, God.
I'll read it and then
I answer it and I ask your question. Okay.
Okay. So this one's for you.
Oh, God. I'm scared.
How can you better enhance your leadership abilities to better manage a team?
All right. So if I'm being honest, right, I think I'm a great communicator. However, I do think my thoughts are like a machine gun. Mm-hmm. So sometimes like, and then I don't give people an opportunity to, as they're sometimes identifying their thoughts, I don't give them quite the opportunity to let all their thoughts out. So as a leader, I think it's really important to sometimes sit back and observe and listen more rather than always speaking. So I could probably do better with listening. And right now, the leadership role that I have will be with my children. And even though they're children, they are humans. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's always important for me to save them. And I think as a leader, it's also important to let them to feel.
Yes.
Me, so like they can know that experience, like, oh, let's not do it again.
Right.
And so if I was to sit back and observe and allow them to finish their thoughts out, because at times I'm rushing them, where it's like, I already know they're about to say, like, if they're about to, for instance, like, ask me for more catch up. Like, Sophia's a talker like me, so she'll give me a whole story behind a catch up. And it's like, the phone is ringing for a client. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta answer this phone call. I gotta answer it. And I'm like, yeah, baby, you want to catch up real quick? And it's like, but I didn't finish. I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry, baby. Go ahead.
I have a couple thoughts to that.
Okay.
I remember in grad school we did a round table where the hardest thing to do was not talk when the other person was speaking, and it was a public speaking course. And the only way we knew it was our time is when we listened to the person that was speaking. They gave us their keyword. So I use it here, as you know, in real estate when we have big meetings. You know, I'm a 49ers fan. You know,
it's everywhere.
Go Niners, baby. You know, so with that being said, when we have our group meetings, when I say 49er, somebody else jump in and they know that I'm done talking, and it prevents us from cutting off each other. So anyway, that's the way that it works for me. Of course, the one other thing I learned is, like, we can't assume what the next person's thought is. Like, I was doing it with my mom this weekend too. When I was talking to her, she was driving, you know, making all these different points. And then I was making a statement behind it, but I was just like, darn, I got to remind myself. I didn't even take the time to wait and let her finish to see what she was saying. There was a story that I learned from someone close to me who was in a high leadership position. And he told me, obviously he had staff under him.
Yeah.
And he told me that he had one-on-one meetings with these individuals. And there was this one particular lady that was just doing a phenomenal job. And he had took the time to write up a package and a plan for her to give her an increase that was going to be like far beyond her expectations.
Yeah.
And when he called her in for the one-on-one meeting, before he could even start talking, after asking her how her day went and, you know, natural conversation, she said, "This is what I want in order for me to stay here." She turned it around and showed it to him. And he sat back in his chair. He said, "I don't want to lose you. You got it. You deserve it. All that you want here, you got it."
Wow.
And when she left something to the tune of $60,000 to $80,000 on the table just because she never let him talk.
Wow. She just put her own foot in the mouth.
Yes. So that's why we all can grow.
Yeah. See, I did really well that whole time. I was just at my But yeah, so that was good. All right, your turn. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Look, I'm all like, what do they got for me? What do they got for us? For us.
This was a good one.
Uh-oh.
Here you go. If you had the opportunity to heal a pain inside of a loved one, what would it be and why?
Wow, inside of a loved one. That's deep. So, because life matters.
Yeah.
And when I say life, the way that question was written, it said, if you had the opportunity to heal a pain inside of a loved one, that signifies to me that a loved one can be one that's not here anymore,
mm-hmm.
or that could physically be here.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm a deep thinker, even though the people that are here matter to me,
yeah.
If I had a chance to heal a pain inside of a loved one that has left, this might have helped contribute to them not leaving. So, the pain that I would want to heal for a loved one who has left would be one that deals with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And how can I do that? I would have to put them in the position to have someone that they can talk to,
mm-hmm.
To help them work through their issues,
yeah.
so that they wouldn't turn to drugs or alcohol or other things mm-hmm. that ultimately made an impact on them leaving.
Yeah. Wow. That was good. I'm glad that was your question.
I'm glad it was your question.
That was your question.
Your question.
Oh man, please let it be easy, Jesus.
These people had a lot of questions this time here. Okay. Would you take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from? Wow. Does the messenger matter? Let me repeat this because this is deep.
Hold on.
Okay.
You answer that one.
Would you take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from? Does the messenger matter?
You want me to go first? Because I think you should answer this one too. This one's good.
I'll answer it too. We'll both answer.
All right. You want to go first?
Let me drink my my water with flavor in it.
There you go. Wow. Can I? Let me look at this.
So yeah, I can answer it first. My answer would be, starting from the end when it says, "Does a messenger matter?" No, because my grandma says you can learn from a dog and it barks when no one's even there. We can also learn from a child. We can learn from, like I told you, we talked about me yesterday, and I saw the homeless individual was just affixed to the guardrail. He wasn't just standing there or sitting there. He was like affixed. So I made the term the guardrail office, where essentially, like everybody else goes to work, that was his job. So I learned from that. So it doesn't matter where the message comes from or who it comes from. It's up to us to be receptive to receiving the message that we are either seeing or hearing, or who's giving it to us. Because sometimes, and this was a big Barksdale think tank situation this weekend, where we talked about, myself and my dad talked about education. And he was making a point about testing. And I'm not a big advocate of tests. And my son was like, you need to have a whole talk about this on your show. And I'm like, because I'm not a fan of like ACTs or SATs.
Yeah.
And I don't think somebody's test score can dictate how they will perform in the real world.
I agree.
So my dad being the messenger, I was receptive to hearing what he's saying, because he was like, well, you got to have a baseline to have some people be able to be in and other people to be out. And I'm like, but it's an unfair baseline because some people may not test well. So long and short, to not get in the mud on all of this, is that, does a messenger matter to me? No.
Okay, so the question, would you take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from? Here's my thing. Does the messenger matter? I agree with that. No, it doesn't. Will I take criticism? Okay, I'm not going to take... Okay, so when it comes to criticism and stuff like that, I think anyone can give that, right? Do I have to implement it or respect it?
No.
I can't stop you from giving whatever you want to give. I don't have to take it.
Right.
Because sometimes your criticism is from just your vantage point, because that's from what you see. So it may not even be the reality, but just from the way you're looking at it. For me, I think it doesn't matter to me if I wouldn't take advice from you if you give me criticism, because everyone has opinions.
Right.
So that's fine. The advice that I take from people will be someone who I respect. However, I would have to see, I'm all into motives. What is the motive of this criticism? Because we can be critical without it being constructive.
Right.
So sometimes people give criticism because they're negative people. And they criticize anything that has legs and walks. Right. So I would have to kind of gauge on who you are. Now, would it make me reevaluate and take a mirror and look at myself?
Right.
I might take a second glance. I don't know. I can't say I would do it all the time. It really depends on who it is. Or it depends on how I feel, how receptive I am, because I'm not going to take everything that someone gives me. You can give it. I don't have to take it. So I don't have to take your criticism.
So if somebody criticizes you, you think the criticism, there's a motive behind why they're criticizing you?
It depends on their motives. I don't think there's always... Sometimes the motive is to help, but it would have to be someone who I like. Some people literally, like, I have encountered, and I think everyone has it in their family, some people who are just negative. Like,
yes,
they just wake up with just negativity just in their aura, like their feng shui, like they just smell negativity. So all they give really is they try to hide their criticism and their negativity. You're a negative person, so I don't really want to.
So how do you deal with it?
I don't take it on to be my burden. You could give out whatever you want. I don't have to take it.
We talked about this.
You can throw it out there. I don't have to catch it. That's a you problem. That ain't nothing to do with me. I don't care about your opinion.
I really like that, what you just said.
Yeah.
There's this show that we watch at home, no matter what. Every Saturday or Sunday we have to watch it, and it's about where people get their cars towed up in Philly.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, those people be tripping.
But one guy, I learned something this weekend. The one guy was called the worst thing you could call an African American person.
Okay.
And he has a ponytail, and he sat in his car, and it just so happened that he was called it in front of a mosque, and because he had put a whole bunch of tickets on their car, and the other person that was there, that was part of the mosque, came up apologizing and all that, and he said this, which blew me away, and I learned from it. He said, "There's no reason or there's no need for you to say sorry." He's like, "I'm not upset." He said, "That's on them. They have to answer to God for the way they felt and what they said. It didn't impact or even affect me. That's on them. What you do, you have to answer to the Most High for it." In life, God's gift to us is by giving us life, and our gift back to God is by how we live our life.
Exactly. And just to say on this thing, it also depends on what you're criticizing me on. If you're talking about like professionally, I think actually I can accept it from anybody, because there's always things that can change.
Right.
But if you're talking about things like being a mom, yeah, I gotta respect you. Like, listen, you can't be anybody telling me, you can't be a bad mom, give all your kids away, and you be like, I was gonna say something. Listen, I don't like. I gotta respect you on that. So it also in this question, it depends on the subject we're criticizing because if you're not even doing it,
right,
there's not much that I'm gonna really listen to you and really listen. And be like, oh, okay, you made a point. Nah, you can keep your opinion.
It's like that Kanye West interview back in the day.
What did he say?
Well, he wanted to get in the clothing industry, so he got on, Sway, the radio, the talk guy.
Oh yeah,
remember?
And he walked away. Oh, what did he? Oh my God, it was like a whole
Sway
big
was
thing.
telling him you can't get into this business like t-shirt. But Kanye was like, how you gonna be able to give me advice? Like you never did it.
Yeah.
And if he would have listened to him, he wouldn't have never became a billionaire by clothes.
Exactly.
Somebody said it takes. If somebody tells you no, that you can't do something, for one no, it takes 17 people to tell you yes, this can be done, for you to change your internal opinion that you can actually accomplish it.
And you know what? If we change our mindsets and we start surrounding ourselves around people who we also respect their mindsets, like we will be more successful people.
Les Brown says OQP. Surround yourself with OQP, only quality people.
Amen.
What's the next one we got?
Right, last question.
All right.
Get a good one.
You shaking it up like popcorn.
There we. Oh, I want some fresh popcorn. I don't like the bag. I like when you put it on the stove.
Is this my question or yours?
This is.
I feel like we both been answering the question.
Yeah, this one's gonna be yours because that one was supposed to be for me. But I was like, we gotta share this one.
Well, I'm sharing mine with you too.
Oh, okay. Can you share a significant turning point in your life and how it shaped who you are today?
Wow. We just kind of talked about it.
All right, then let's do another one.
No, I mean, this is really important. I was about the age of 16 with the goal of wanting to own my own company someday. I've talked about this over and over again. And I had somebody really, really close to me. That's why you have to be careful who you tell your dreams to, and because people will turn you down. Again, like we just said. For one no, it takes 17 yeses.
Exactly.
To change that opinion. But I was just, like I said, naive. When you're naive, you act like there are no limits for you. So when it was said to me, it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't have any limits. But I was told you'd never be able to, open your own company. You'll always work for somebody. And that's how it was said to me. It's like, you'll always work for somebody. So I even had to ask other people that was in my family. I'm like, why would somebody, say something like that?
Yeah.
To such a young kid. And they told me because that individual was set in their journey. They understood that where they got to is the highest that they would ever get. So instead of uplifting, and I'll say the youth or the kids or the people around you, they chose to hold me back and think that, no, I don't want to let this person get past me. So for me, that's why I'm always big at whoever I work with. And like I told all the agents that work with me, I'm like, you gonna supersede me one day.
You do.
Because if you don't,
yeah,
then I was a terrible teacher. And I want everybody to supersede me that I pour myself into. I don't want to pour half of a cup and then you come under me. That's a loss.
Exactly. I think a lot of times, if we're being honest, people give advice based off of them and based off of their insecurities and putting that on someone else.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I can't imagine doing it. But they ask, can you imagine them doing it?
Wow.
It has nothing to do with you. You're not even a factor in it.
Right.
Factor them. And I think sometimes if we give our advice based off of the person who's asking us, take yourself out of it. We're so ego driven where everything has to go back to us. Okay, we're not talking about you right now. We're talking about them.
Right.
And that's why a lot of our, I try to give advice in a way of, one, I can't tell you what's best for you.
Right.
I do that approach heavily for real estate. I can only guide you. But when they go like, should I get this house? Do you think I should get it? I don't know. This is, excuse me, only you know what's best for you. You know the factors of your life. You know the kind of life you want to live. You want to know what you can afford. You want to know what you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, only you know those certain things. I can only guide you and remind you of things you said. But if I always put myself in the situation of would I do it, then a lot of times it'll be no, because I wouldn't do it. Right. But it's not about me. Remove your ego and give advice based off of that person. Yeah, you know what? You are smart. You are a go-getter. You can be anything you want to be. And you know what? You're not going to just own one business. You probably could own 5.
The greatest thing is when somebody comes back to you that you had an impact on, and they tell you, they're like, it could have just been a kind word that you said for the person. It don't have to be a whole drawn out thing. Exactly. You might not even thought you was doing anything. Exactly. Like somebody say the way you live your life is an inspiration to others. And on the other side of that, the way you live your life is the reason why other people don't want to live exactly that way.
I was that kind of younger child. Like, we were really great kids, but I didn't need to do certain things because I already saw what happened. I'm like, I ain't gonna do that, mommy.
You like, look, I'm not going down those steps that got clamps on them.
I'm gonna listen to you.
If those steps got clamps on them, I ain't walking down there.
Listen, that lesson I'm taking for the streets, like for the rest of my life. Like,
I'm done.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.